Welcome to Chasing K-Dramas, the podcast that dissects popular Korean dramas episode by episode. We dig into the characters, themes, and everything in between. I'm your host, Chrissy Choi, and I'm here with...
your co-host, Dulcé Sloan. Crack, crack, crack. So, in today's drama chase, we are going to be recapping episode 6 of Queen of Tears. Now, listen, the key moments we're going to be focusing on is Haein and Hyunwoo are back in love. We learn more about the mystery around the board attack, and we find out who Dahye and Moh SeulHee really are.
Yes.
And in a wild moment, as a black person, did not bode well, is Haein has an hallucination where she sees her dead brother, and a Hong family member suspects Hyunwoo of deception.
A major deception.
All thanks to the bad guy himself, Mr. Scar, Eunsung. We hate this man.
Psycho Ajushi.
Psycho Ajushi. Mandem is crazy. So we're going to get into it because, listen, we are so happy. But, it's not the longest episode, but so much stuff happens.
Yes.
So much stuff happens.
Yes.
So much stuff happens. So, Hyunwoo Haein, they clear everything up. He comes to her with a pair of shoes.
He brings her the shoes. Very sweet.
Big clunky ass shoes. And they have a very cute scene and the tension's back. And then there's some German man being like, hey, get out of here. I want to go see my wife too. And you're like, all right, sir, fine. Calm down. And I'm happy for them.
I know.
I also think she needs this. As much as he needs this, she needs this.
And I think as an audience, I think we all needed it just because I just felt like there was so much buildup.
Yes.
And this is where it hits, right? It's the climax. And we're just like, will they or won't they? And
well,
they
episode 6 makes sense for that. Because in most
Yes.
Korean dramas, this is the time where they finally hold hands.
Yes. Episode 6 is usually when there's like a little, like you inch closer.
Right. They're either gonna. So in the beginning episode, they finally hold hands, and then by the end of the episode, there's a misunderstanding, and then someone is drunk at the poor contestant place, and then we end up with a piggyback. Like that's where this would usually go.
Yes.
But they're already married.
Yeah.
So what would be it's them finally kissing on purpose, sober, in this weird house in Germany.
Yep. It's so good. They have a really, I know, I love talking about the songs, right?
Yes.
So it's a song by Crush that I love. There's an artist named Crush. He's an R&B singer. And every time his song comes on, I'm just like, ah. The way that the episode actually opens up is with Eunsung and Dahye. Eunsung and Dahye we discovered that they're in the cahoots. So we discovered that Dahye is bad. She is a part of the plan.
But we already knew something was up with her.
We did.
When
It was
she was
sus.
pretending not to drink.
It was really sus. And it opens where she is literally walking into Haein and Hyunwoo's house in Queenstown. Also, did you notice they have a key card? Like their hotel key card.
But the way, at least Dahye, lives there. At least this is her actual home.
Yes.
The way Eunsung is walking around this house, just strolling. I'm like, when did he ever go upstairs?
He acts like
When
he
did
owns the
she
place.
ever go upstairs?
They both act like they,
Because I don't know if her and Han even have a relationship, not good or bad. It really, I realize there's never any conversation between them.
I don't think they ever speak in the drama.
To each other?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think so. Actually, we should look out for that in the future episodes. I'm pretty sure they don't really interact
They
at
never
all.
interact with each other.
Maybe at the very end, but
I
don't
think
so.
Hyunwoo talks to Dahye more than, I think he's actually spoken to her. I don't think Haein has ever spoken to her this entire show.
Which is crazy. But Eunsung they're digging around their Hyunwoo's office.
They're digging around Hyunwoo's room, which would have been the baby's room. And so he finds a safe.
He finds a safe.
And she's like, it can't be a big deal. Mind you, she's trying to smoke indoors.
Yes. And she's like, there's security cameras everywhere. The housekeeper, everyone's gone. This is my only chance. And he's like, you can smoke at a later time. You need to calm down. We're here. We gotta investigate. What are you doing?
Also, go to the store. Leave the premises. Oh, she can't leave. She's in hiding. Didn't they say she never leaves?
She never leaves. She's always just home, basically besides Choi, all the time. She goes into her closet, to Haein's closet, pulls out her clothes, and it's like...
She's like, I've been waiting for this jacket for 6 months, and she already has it. And it's an ugly-ass jacket.
It's just so ridiculous the way they're acting. And then one interesting part is when Dahye says to Eunsung, he's like, those two, they're in love, but they just don't realize it. Mm-hmm. People think they act like they don't like each other, but she's like, I think they really do love each other. They care about each other deeply.
And then we cut to them in Germany. Yes. But it's funny because, like, he didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything.
And he's like, but it's like, because it could have been like, well, they won't be for long or something like that.
Yeah.
Because he has to now get into Hyunwoo's safe. And I was expecting, so when Hyunwoo went into his safe, I was expecting the code to be something. Because, remember, like, the code for her phone was the baby's birthday.
Yes.
It would have been the baby's birthday. Mm-hmm. His code, I think, is just a regular ass code. And they ain't got no secret for his code. Mm-mm. But I would have loved it if it was, like, the day that they met. Or, like,
something.
Just a little thing.
Yeah. And then the other thing that Eunsung discovers is also he sees the card. There's the card of the tech store that Eunsung, the business card.
Yes, the business card, because that's where he took the video from the dash cam.
Oh, and then we also find out
that
Dahye was the person who opened the gate for the wild boar.
She opened the gate and she sprinkled the food down.
Yeah, because we thought it was Grace, right?
But which is crazy that Dahye was even out there, which means what helicopter was she on?
I know. And she had her little outfit. Like she was like dressed up and she had these gloves. I'm just like, what are you doing?
That's wardrobe's problem. I'm like, this bitch could have at least been in a t-shirt and some jeans.
It was so funny. But
it was so ridiculous. And so but then she got caught on that dash cam.
She got caught on that dash cam.
She got caught and then Grace is just hitting her.
Yes. Also, Grace is literally the hardest working person on this entire show.
Hardest.
There's this scene where she's hitting Dahye because Dahye's getting her skincare done, right? Mm-hmm. And then she's yelling at her, being like, you need to stop smoking. Because of you, I've learned how to edit video.
Because you keep smoking, like you'd have to edit you out of the fucking security footage. And then Dahye's like, and so? But I love the mom being like, because that's so, the mom defends Dahye to Grace because when Grace walks out, she's like, who were you yelling at?
Yeah, because she was like, yeah.
She wasn't yelling at anybody. She's like, I heard you. Who were you yelling at?
She's like, I didn't say anything. And then Dahye's like, 어머님, 아니에요. That means like, no, mother-in-law.
어머님, it wasn't her.
And
it was just like,
that little fox.
But also, it's like, she was defending her daughter-in-law.
Mm-hmm. I think it's more or less like, this is where kind of like, it's a class thing. That's
what I was about to say. It's a class thing. It wasn't like, you're yelling at my daughter-in-law. It's you're stepping out of line.
Yes. What are you doing? You're still like the help,
Right.
Yeah. So.
Although my favorite sentence is, who are you talking to? One of my favorite sentences in Blackton. Who are you talking to? And I love it because whenever a black woman says this to someone, they genuinely are asking, who are you talking to? I know you're not talking. That's why they always say, I know you're not talking to me.
I know you're not talking to me.
Because this is my favorite. If you're going to do the whole who you're talking to, it has to be the look around. And then looking at the person and going, who are you talking to?
Grace really is the hardest working person on the show because there's another scene where she's in the car, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, Hyunwoo's assistant calls Haein's assistant. And he's like, hey, where are our bosses at? Where did they go?
Why are you calling me?
I know. She's like, can you like leave me alone? Like, this is vacation. Like, don't talk to me. Don't call me. I don't care. But then, of course, in the car, Hyunwoo's assistant is driving Grace. So Grace literally has minions, her people everywhere. She's like, what's that guy in Game of Thrones?
Oh, Peter Dinklage's character?
No.
The bald one.
The bald guy. He has his he had his little birds, right?
Yeah.
What the expression
the
was?
eunuch.
He was the eunuch. Yeah, he had his little birds, like little spies. You know.
It's weird to see him. They shaved his head for that because he's on another British show being kind of that guy.
Ah.
And I'm like, oh, this is just this dude. I thought it was just that character. Nah, this is how his voice sounds. This is him. But he has a full head of like hair.
Oh, good. Good for him.
I'm trying to clock and see if it was a lace front too, because I'm like, he did look like he was wearing I was like, his Game of Thrones a bald cap, but the way I was like, it looks like soap opera hair.
Oh,
because no one has a thicker head of hair than a white man in a soap opera. An older white man in a soap opera hair.
Full set.
Oh. But the fact that, so this is my thing. If you are Hyunwoo's assistant, why are you driving Grace around?
I know, poor guy.
Shouldn't you be making enough money where you don't have to be driving Grace around? But it does give you a nice, why am I yelling? It does give you a nice full circle moment to be like, oh, Grace got everybody.
Grace has everyone.
But how much money, Grace has to be paying people. Because you don't do something like that unless you're getting paid, unless he also, because when they have the powwow meeting, right? Mm-hmm. When they have their powwow meeting, who's that other guy?
Oh,
is that Hyunwoo's assistant?
Director Joe. So Director Joe is the guy who, and I think this kind of bleeds into the next episode, but he's the guy that manipulates all of the shareholders within Queens. Yes.
Because you've seen other episodes before the next one where they're sitting together going over the plan.
Plotting, yep.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that thing?
Yeah. So his name is Director Joe.
Okay.
Director Joe.
There's stuff that I've always known that when they do the subtitles, I'm not getting all the information.
Also, it's not even that. It's because these episodes are an hour and a half. How are you going to remember everything?
Truly.
I mean, honestly, I feel like the audience needs
to I don't even remember him talking.
We have an outline here with everything, but it is a lot.
It's a lot to take in. And then it's that's why we're trying to stick to the main points. But so basically, he has to set up the plan. Right? Mm-hmm. So while they're in Germany, falling back in love, Eunsung's at the house causing pure chaos.
Pure, utter chaos.
While they're falling back in love, mind you, he comes to Germany, gives her these clunky ass shoes. She has a cup noodle for the first time because she's like, I've been sitting up eating well and now I got fucking cloud brain cancer. Yeah. I might as well eat a cup noodle before I die. And then she's like, well, here's what I want at my funeral. And if them girls at my funeral act like they really like me, sue them for defamation. Mm-hmm. And then she's just like, well, I'm going to go first. So I'll be your angel to come get you. And he's like, what are you talking about?
I know. And I think this is the moment where I feel like her mortality is actually on the line now. Yeah, on the table now, because I think this entire time, the other episodes, she's gonna die, but it's the first time where she's kind of accepted it in a weird way, because in the previous episodes she's always like, I'm gonna fight it.
Well, because the treatment isn't working.
Yeah, well that's very true. The treatment isn't working. So, and you can kind of see with Hyunwoo, it's actually dawning on him, I love this person and I'm seeing her and she's being vulnerable now too, right? So he's seeing the side. So he's like,
because imagine when was the last time she was probably vulnerable with him? It was probably when they first were courted. Mm-hmm. But this is when you're like, they really do love each other. Yeah. They really do love each other because she says, I'm going to change my will.
I love how she brings it up. She's like, you're not in my will.
Because my mother made me.
Because my mother said that I couldn't marry you if I didn't change, change the will.
Okay, here's my thing. Mm-hmm. I understand that in this very prominent family, saying that you can't marry somebody is a legit thing. But in non-television life, can this actually be Like, your parents like, I'm not giving you permission to marry this person.
Yes, it happens a lot in Korean culture.
I was watching because it's like, I think it happens more with rich people because I don't think poor people care who anybody marries. We're like, I won't bless this marriage, but I can't stop this marriage. You see what I'm saying? If you're not rich, you have.
I think it's a cultural thing. I think Korean people, we are raised to
Filial.
Yes, filial piety, whatever that is. Like, we have to respect our elders. We have to respect our parents. And oftentimes it's something that's ingrained in us. So I think a lot of us, and I think Korean Americans are different, right? I think we push back because we grew up in American culture.
Yeah.
But I do think that for some people, some families, like, if it's a no, it's a no. And this is why there's so many dramas about this because it does happen. I mean, is it to the extent where like, the mother-in-law or the mother-in-law comes and like throws money at the girl? It's not that extreme, but I think it does happen at times. So I can see.
But I think like in America, I think we've kind of changed it to where like, I won't give this my blessing. Like it's because we still in certain parts of. I think in some aspects of American culture, there's still the man going to the father
asking
or the man
for the
going
hand.
to the parent. I think we still have that little bit of it, but I don't think like if say my boyfriend goes to my mom and is just like, oh, I want to marry your daughter. And my mother's like, no, I'm then not going to go. I'm probably not going to go, well, wrap this up. Gotta go. Get your toothbrush. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think, but like eloping has always been a thing.
Yeah.
Eloping and running off and getting married has always been a thing because there's always been parents that did not approve of a marriage. I would love to see the statistics of the number of times parents did not approve of a marriage and they were right. I would love to see those numbers.
I would love to see that too.
I wish someone had them. I feel like they're higher than we think they are.
They're probably higher.
I feel like your parents were right most of the time.
Most of the time.
Unless it was like, Mama, this black man. I think other than that, most of the time, your parents were fucking spot on. And it was like, do not marry this person. I saw this great thing on Instagram where it was like a text thread and this guy goes, Mama, what time was I born? And the mother texts back, get away from that girl.
Yes.
Get away from that girl. Get away from that girl.
Because, we all do it. Well, Koreans, Asian people, we love Asian horoscopes.
Oh, believe me.
I mean, I was going to actually ask you when you were born. You need to send me everything because we should do that as partners, as business partners.
I just found out I'm a water pig.
A what?
Water pig.
A water pig. Yes. Water pig. Yeah.
So my photographer, Kim New Money, she's amazing. We did another nail shoot. But it was like it's ridiculous. You'll see the first one on Valentine's Day. And so we were looking up birthday. Because I knew I remember going to a Chinese restaurant as a little kid. The one we'd always go to in Miami. And it was the first time I ever saw the Chinese zodiac.
Yeah.
And you would look up the year you were born.
Yep.
And I am a pig.
Uh-huh.
Which as a little fat girl, I was like, this is rude.
But pigs are really lucky.
I hear
lucky
that.
pig, yes.
I don't know in what.
We just missed the golden pig. That was a couple years back. People were trying to get pregnant and have kids on the golden pig.
Well, listen, it missed me. And I would
pigs, it's good. My grandma was a pig. My grandma's a pig. Pigs and tigers are really compatible.
What are you?
Tiger.
Ooh.
I'm a fire tiger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm a water pig.
Yes. And then for me, I am missing a little water in my, I'm missing a lot of water actually in my little horoscope, my reading.
You know what's funny? It's, cause my brother's a rat. And then I think my mom is an ox.
Oh, Thomas is an ox.
Thomas! But we looked up what my father was, and I don't remember what it was, but it definitely said they're not compatible. And I was like, well, that was true.
It's not always 100%, but we do definitely it's, I love it. And I think it's a lot more accurate than
It makes more sense. A whole year makes way more sense than fucking 25 days.
I have an app. Oh my God, this is so crazy. So
one of my friends, So one of my friends for her bachelorette party, they tried to put my information in this app, and I said, I ain't playing with y'all with this fucking horoscope app. Stop playing with me.
This Korean app is called Chomshin, and you know how I found out about this?
Tell me.
I was watching a YouTube show. It was with the cast of Queen of Tears. Eunsung Park Sung-hoon was talking about it. He was like, there's this amazing app. And he's like, you got to download it. And he made Hyunwoo and Haein, Kim Seon and Kim Ji-won all download it. And they're all talking about it. And they're like, and Kim Seon's like, Hyunwoo's like, I don't really believe in this stuff, but it's like pretty true. And Park Sung-hoon, like, Eunsung's like, yeah.
It's interesting.
It's so
Here's
good.
the thing. I would believe more just because the history of a people and just the study of things. I would believe more a Chinese or Korean horoscope than I would ever go, who made up this Taurus shit? Who is this from? Haein, Hyunwoo are in Germany, and now they're sleeping in the same bed.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
Looking each other in the eyes.
There is so much sexual tension.
It's good.
Also, I brought this up last time too. It's like, just hook up.
She be fucking with him though. She really just try him.
She was like, I was like, why are you acting so coy?
She has to.
Why?
Because they stopped talking to each other and was beefing. You got to be coy now.
But also, like, but you're married. This is why I'm just like, it's not realistic.
I think sometimes, like, I've had friends that are married, and sometimes when you have such a break, like, we have such a, like, if they weren't married, they would have just broken up and never spoken to each other again. But since they are married, they live in the same house, they work at the same place, they had to figure it out. So sometimes when a relationship gets so fractured like this, you literally have to almost start over. Because not only did they stop speaking, they stopped being intimate, they stopped talking, everything.
I mean, everything stopped, yeah. Which means it was really bad.
It was really bad. And so they are now having to learn each other. Also, it's been, 3 years?
Yeah.
And he's been staring at that star at the damn ceiling and crying in the fucking soju with his homeboy, being followed by these two goofy ass security dudes.
Poor guy. He got so excited. He was like, hey, where should I sleep tonight? And she's like, well, you know,
where do you want to sleep?
And then he like jumps up and he's like ready. And then like they're sitting on the bed and he's like reaching out. And then she's like, you remember Yenna? And I'm like, what are you doing?
Fuck that bitch. She almost died. Great.
She almost died and her husband screwed her over.
She almost died. Her husband
the ugly husband, yeah.
But what's so interesting is because, one, she mentions the will. So we have to go back to the will because that was the whole reason he was trying to fall back in love with her again, because his homeboy was like, you got to get the will changed. You got to get the will changed. You got to get the will changed. And she said, I could not change the will. I could not put you in my will because my mother wouldn't let me marry you if I did. She said, I will change it. And he said, don't.
Yes.
Until you get better.
Which was, that's when like, you know he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, but they're in love again. Because how would you have felt if he was like, okay.
Then we would be like, what's this drama? What's this direction?
If he said yes, I'd have been like, what are we doing now?
Eunsung goes to the dash cam store.
Yeah.
There's a scene.
Goes to the dash cam store, talks to the dash cam man. Because why? Because Hyunwoo gets the thing from the dash cam. Also, apparently, according to dramas, everybody in Korea has a dash cam.
But you know what's crazy, though? Hyunwoo is so smart. He thought that someone was going to come find it. So he parked his car in front of the tech store.
With his dash cam. Called his homeboy because he sent his homeboy, because that was the thing. It was like, so he sent his homeboy and was like, yo, check up on the tech store because I've been calling this man. So they get the memory card from the dash cam that caught Dahye cutting open the fence to let the boar in, right?
Yeah.
Now Grace ain't got to edit nothing. So now it's like, well, this was a race. The old boy's like, I got you. And then Eunsung finds the business card, goes to the tech store, buys old boy out, says, Ajushi, you don't have to work no more.
One thing is really important is Beomja discovers Moh SeulHee's identity. Yeah.
With the private investigator.
With the private investigator. And we find out that this woman is not Moh SeulHee, right?
She has a different name.
She has a different name.
She went to jail.
She went to jail.
She had a baby in jail.
She had a baby in jail. She went to jail for adultery.
Which,
did you know in Korea, up until 2015, adultery was illegal and people went to jail for committing adultery? What? Yes. So if you watch dramas, K-dramas, it's always like a thing where like if you cheat on someone, your husband could put your husband could put you in jail.
But could you put your husband in jail?
Yeah, you can do vice versa. But usually, I think the courts usually favor.
I don't think they were sending men to jail. I think they were sending women to jail.
And this is why, Moh SeulHee, it's crazy, right? That Moh SeulHee backstory, it made me scream. I was like, oh.
See, that's the thing, right? So she went to jail for adultery, right? And so that's why I wish we would have had some indication of how she met the chairman, because technically this is adultery.
This is adultery. And then I also had this thought.
Well, did she go to jail? It wasn't the chairman because he only knows her as Moh SeulHee.
So she went to jail for a different reason, right? She had the baby there. But
was that the daddy?
No, that's not. My question is this.
Okay.
Or do you think Moh SeulHee killed the chairman's wife?
Yes.
Okay. That's
absolutely.
What I thought, right? She was plotting.
But remember, they said she drank herself to death.
No, I think she was poisoned.
See, there's little things in this drama. I'm just like, we missed a thing. The fact that they don't ever give us a flashback of how Moh SeulHee met the chairman, I think is a missed opportunity.
Yeah. So her name was Oh Seung. Her real name is Oh Seung. Oh Seung died 30 years ago, but she is now Moh SeulHee. Crazy. In prison when she was 4 months pregnant. And then the PI is like telling Beomja, don't say anything. This woman has outsmarted y'all for years. You cannot just go with this information.
Because all she's going to say is, this is a lie. Because remember when Beomja and Moh SeulHee go to the chairman and Beomja's like, she hit me.
Yep,
and Moh SeulHee goes, yes, I hit her. And the chairman goes, she didn't hit you.
Yeah.
She said she did it.
It's crazy.
And the chairman was like, she's just trying to cover for you. And she's like, what are you talking about? Because it's obvious that the father is the man that she went to jail for adultery for.
Yeah, of course. And then poor Eunsung, and we have a flashback to Eunsung and Dahye too, and how they knew each other, of course,
from
in
the orphanage.
Yeah, and then I also wonder about Eunsung and Dahye's relationship because they were so comfortable. I know they grew up together, but it's kind of like, why didn't they ever get together?
Because they were both poor. It makes no sense.
It's just interesting.
This is because remember, Dahye comes up to Seul and is like, let's get married.
Oh yeah,
when they're children.
Yeah, you want to marry Nuna? Because that part was really funny too. When
he was like, I can sense when I'm with an older woman because of the trauma with my sister. And then Dahye's like, I'm 5 years older than him. He's an idiot.
The funniest part, this is a pop culture reference. And he's just like, I don't like Eunsung Dahye. So Eunsung Dahye is a famous Korean singer and actor. And his first hit song was years ago called 누나 내 여자니까. So it's like, Nuna, you're my woman. That's the title.
Talk about the big sister. Oh, that's why he hates that song.
That was really funny.
Listen, this is the time that you remember this wasn't for us. This was not for an American audience. So you got funny. All these deep cut references. Dahye is being like, he's such an idiot.
He is an idiot.
Such an idiot. Because it's like, how do you stay married to somebody who you have no respect for?
Because she is Ayo. We talked about it. She's a complete fox. She is out to.
But Moh SeulHee's a fox too.
They're both foxes. They're the worst of all foxes.
I think Moh SeulHee is the fox. I don't think Dahye is a fox. I think because
she needed to survive, so she needs to do that. She needs to be a fox.
This is a survival thing, and I think that's why she doesn't leave, because it's just like everything's provided for me. I grew up with no parents because she was in the orphanage like 11. No one's adopting an 11-year-old.
I know.
She probably aged out.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I have nothing, so I'm going to marry this dummy. Because she sat there in front of him and was like, nope, I'm not a Nuna at all. knowing good and well she was older than him, and then she had to lie. He's completely immature.
Choi. Poor Choi.
Such an idiot.
And then the other plans are happening where it's a twofold plan. Okay, one is the hostile takeover of Queens. So they'll talk about that in the next episode.
Buying shares.
But the other one is the embezzlement, right? There is an embezzlement case. So one of the directors was caught for embezzling a large amount of money at Queens. Because of this, it causes a investigation, and the authorities are going to go investigate the chairman as well, because it's such a large amount of money.
Right.
And that was all done through Eunsung plotting. He plotted all of that.
So this isn't the one where Dahye's cousin messes up on the taxes. This is a different situation.
It's a different situation.
So then
Eunsung needs, for his plan to work, he needs the chairman to go to jail. He needs that entire family to disappear, right? So what he's trying to do with this embezzlement is he's trying to put the chairman in jail.
Right. Because then we talk about the grandson taking the charge.
Yes.
So, because I think there was so much plan being talked about that I was like, okay, this is a lot of plan.
It's a lot.
Because because they explain the buying the shares more than they do the embezzlement.
The embezzlement is like baked in between meetings. So there's like meetings, like there's a scene where the chairman is meeting with his people and they're talking about it and he gets upset, right?
Right.
And then there's a scene where he is with Moh SeulHee. They're playing Paduk again. Or it's not Paduk. They're playing Changi. Yeah, they're playing that. And then she's like, "What is this?" She drops a piece and she's like, "Oh, it's what is this? It's a recording device." It's a recording device, right?
And so now it's a recording device, and then that's what gets Eunsung to bring all of those people into the house to sweep the house.
Yes.
And then we find the receiver that he has planted in Hyunwoo's room. And now it's Hyunwoo's listening to us, and then fucking the mom is like, I knew it. I knew it. He was on his way up. He was on his leg up. Of course he would betray us. But the daddy is like, no.
Yeah.
And even the chairman goes, what?
It feels a little sus. Yeah, not sus, but they're
the chairman and the dad didn't believe it. And I think they don't believe it because they know him, because they work with him all the time.
Yes.
The mother's just at the house.
Yeah.
The mother's just at the house, and she, remember, at the wedding, she was like, I'm not going to help them be okay. Because Hyunwoo's mom comes to her and goes, well, we have to help our kids. And she's like, I'm not helping them motherfuckers do a thing. That's their marriage. Because she's like, I'm not going to help, but I'm not even going to interfere. Yeah. So now she's on some fuck shit, because remember, at the same time, so now, because remember, Eunsung was like, because Dahye was like, well, who cares if he has a safe? And it's just like, if he has a safe, then he has a secret. And a secret is always going to tear a family apart.
Yes, that part.
And so he needed that safe open.
He needed it
This
open.
is the question. Does he come up with the fake setup of Hyunwoo to be able to get the guys to get the safe open? Or was that always the plan?
No, because Grace, right? So a little bit before this, okay, this is crazy, but Grace is the one who opens the safe first. Eunsung finds the safe. He tells Grace, there's a safe, go open it. So Grace brings in people, right?
While they're out of town.
So they do a sweep.
Right, and then he finds the divorce papers, and then they close it back, and then...
Also, I just want to say, is it that easy to open a safe?
A digital one, no, because there's no cylinders that move. Like, remember back in the day where it was like, I gotta
Yeah, you gotta listen.
Because you're actually listening for tumblers, you're actually listening for something to catch. But if it's a digital code,
I guess what I'm saying is, it makes me real nervous if you have a safe and you can just call people and they could just pop it open for you.
Ma'am, this is TV. I have to say that to my mom sometimes when we're watching stuff. She get worked up. I'm like, hey, this was written by people. But also it's like, it has to be that. So yes, He discovers the safe. Grace opens the safe. So this is what I'm saying. Grace opens the safe. They see the divorce papers. So now it has to be, not only was Hyunwoo not only was Hyunwoo trying to betray the whole family, he was also trying to betray his wife.
Both, yes.
So that's why I'm saying,
yeah,
was the opening of the safe and finding the papers, the thing that was like, okay, let's set him up. Was he always going? Because like, what
were they going to always set him up?
Yes.
I think
well, he had to get rid of him.
He had to get rid of him, but I think this worked out perfectly.
Shout out to Ding T. Sponsor us.
I think this worked out perfectly. I have a feeling, I don't think they planned it all. I think because Grace discovered the divorce papers, they're like, oh, this is what we're going to do. And they planted it all. You know, everyone's in on the plan now.
Yes.
It's a very complicated, and I love the scene where they're like showing all the people coming in and like looking for the receiver, and it's like, you know, they have the split screens. It's like a spy movie.
Girl, it looks like a TJ Maxx security guard office. It's insane.
And then also, I wanted to say before this part, you know how Eunsung gifts the chairman the portrait of Napoleon?
Let me tell you something. I'm so glad we got to this. I was like, is this in episode 6? I wanted to make sure this is episode 6. Because, one, there was no way that thing wasn't bugged. There was no way it wasn't bugged. But the flashback, but the hubris of this man.
I know.
The hubris of this man.
Oh, man.
To see a parallel between him and Napoleon.
Yikes.
Girl. And I was like, he gets whatever he deserves. My girl what moment is going to have to be when Hyunwoo goes to the German doctor and threatens to sue him.
Okay. So, the German doctor.
First of all.
Fun fact. He is a French actor named Sebastian Roche.
I saw his face. I was like, that's not a German man.
He's been in a bunch of stuff, like a bunch. He was like in Fringe, TV show Fringe.
He was
familiar. In General Hospital, I believe.
He looked familiar.
He's been in a
like,
lot of stuff.
Happening?
And I was like, that's kind of cool. That's a fun fact. But yes, he was not German.
At all. I'm looking a man in the face. I was like, this man's from Galt. You know the original name of France?
But yes, back to that point. Yes, that was wild.
So my girl, what moment? And so I don't know what happened that night when they laid in with a pillow between them. But Hyunwoo woke up and was like, I'm here from my wife. She is not going to die. I'm not going to let her change his will. I'm coming from my wife. And so remember, for her to be part of this clinical trial, her white blood cell count had to be high. And it wasn't. When she left Korea, it was low. When she got to Germany, it was low. They did all them treatments, and they kept pulling and pulling, and it was low. Right? Also, I kept wondering why they were pulling from her spine. You can get blood from anywhere to check a white blood cell count, can't you? Or does it have to be?
No idea.
I have a theater degree. You know, I don't fucking know. So, but I was just like, I mean, this looks dramatic, but I don't think they need to be doing this.
I have no idea.
It's not an epidural.
Yeah, because they were sticking it back there. She was like, I have no.
But that's old boy rolled up and he was like, hey, because he wasn't a husband. He was a husband and a lawyer. He was a husband and a lawyer. And he was like, she gave y'all $1 million. And now she's not part of his trial. And he was like, well, just because she gave us $1 million didn't mean she would be part of the trial. He said, but she gave you $1 million. So she would be part of the trial. And he's like, well, that's not how this works. He said, oh, okay, cool. Well, we're going to sue you in Korea. Because he's like, I'll see you soon. He said, yeah, I'll see you in Korea. He said, because she was in Korea when she gave the money. And she's a Korean citizen. So you embezzled $1 million from her and then are not going to allow her to be part of this critical trial. And he said, well, let's see if we can get her white blood cell count up. And he was like, that's what the fuck I thought.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh. Okay. Yeah, he riding now. Yep. This is the same one that came up to this woman and said, hey, I pay my lease on a yearly basis. We got a bunch of cows.
Hyunwoo is an incredibly smart character. Investigator Hyunwoo, I love. The fact that he had he knew that he needed to put his car in front of that tech store.
Could you imagine if he wasn't a lawyer for Crean's Group, what kind of lawyer he would be? If he wasn't sitting up in a department store all damn day?
He's so good. He's so smart.
I want a spinoff for Hyunwoo where he's
Detective Hyunwoo.
Yes, Detective Hyunwoo.
Detective Hyunwoo and Yangi, because Yangi's pretty good sidekick.
Oh, the homeboy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the goofy one talking about, I thought you didn't love her anymore. He's like, chill. So that was my grow up moment where it's just like, hey, bro, you're going to jail. He's like, you stole $1 million from my wife.
And he changed his mind very quickly after. He's like, okay.
He's like, yeah, we can figure out how to get a white blood cell count up. He said, but we got to get a white blood cell count up. He said, I can't do nothing about that. That's the medicine of this shit.
I know. And then he also tells, this is the next part, but in Germany, though, our lead couple, they do a lot of cute stuff.
They go looking for the lock on the bridge.
Yes, because they had the locket during their honeymoon.
I was like, I think about how like the first person to do that, and then
how it like.
Could you imagine being like the city being like, are we gonna keep letting people put locks on this?
I mean, every single European country I go to has a bridge with locks. It cracks me up.
They can't be.
They have to like saw them down.
They can't stay on their. They're so heavy.
Exactly.
This is a footbridge. Like,
but like every single European country I've been to with the bridge has had that. After Hyunwoo speaks to the doctor and she finds out that she can get the white blood cell treatment, right?
Because they can't find her.
So they're at the hospital. Mm-hmm. First, she like apparently gains like 6 pounds. 3 kilos is 6 pounds. She's like freaking out about that. LOL. But she disappears because she sees her brother.
Maybe she drank water.
She drank water. Her little brother comes running by. Her older brother. Sorry.
Her older brother. Deceased brother goes running by. So now, remember she saw, but the first time she saw a glimpse of him is when they were in that park.
Yes, at the very opening scene at the palace.
Mm-hmm, yeah, when they were at the palace.
Yeah. Sansuchi Palace, yes.
So he goes running by and she goes, I know good. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to understand, as a Southern black person, seeing the ghost of a dead sibling means, to me, she's going to die.
Yes. So this is where I was talking about the mortality being very like.
But I think that's when she's like, I'm going to die.
Yes. And then she talks about the angel, right? Mm-hmm. She's heard in the past that, if you're ready to die, someone comes down
to get you,
who loves you. It's an angel.
And she keeps seeing her brother.
Yeah. So she sees her brother. She runs after him. And then she's clearly having a hallucination, another cloud moment, right? Mm. And then Hyunwoo is waiting, but then finds out that she's disappeared. So he chases after her. So he's freaking out. Mm-hmm. And then there's like a fake out because there's another patient lady
laying on the ground. I'm just like, Lord, no.
Yes. And then she walks up to him and she's like, I'm hungry.
Which she hasn't said for years, probably.
Yes. So they go back and then they get food. And she's eating her little like German sausage. Looks really good. Ooh, love a bratwurst. Love a little bratwurst.
A little sauerkraut, a little mustard.
Yeah, and then that's where they talk about the angel coming down, and I literally sobbed so hard. It's like, this part just really broke my heart.
Well, it's so because sweet. You finally see it's like an ice princess. It's like, oh, she's melting.
She's melting. She's eating her sausage, and she's just like letting it all out.
She already had a cup noodle. Now she's eating sausage. She's like, I'm eating all of these nitrates.
Yes.
All these fucking oxidants.
She's like, just let it. She doesn't care. But then she talks about her brother. Mm-hmm. And basically, they were on a trip to the beach, and they were on a boat. Mm-hmm. And then the boat capsized, and her brother drowned. And she believes that her brother saved her, pulled her out of the water. Mm-hmm. And then when her mom and everyone was like running around trying to find people, she tells her mom, hey, where's brother? I think he saved me. Like, he saved me. Where is he? Mm-hmm. And this is where all the shenanigans and the drama happens with her mom, because her mom thinks that the daughter is the reason why her son's dead.
But you should find solace in the fact that your child saved your other child. Yeah.
again, we talked about this last time, a little bit unrealistic because come on, she's still a mama. Like in real life, that hopefully that wouldn't happen unless she's a completely cold person.
People resent children for stuff like this.
So sad.
It's like when you see like
that's so heartbreaking.
It is, because like sometimes you'll see like with kids, it's like the parent is more abusive to one kid than the other kid, just because of whoever that kid's father is or whoever that kid's mother is.
You're right.
Or it's you remind me of someone,
or you're like me,
or you're like me.
That's
so
true.
it's you can see parents were just like, there's something in this kid.
Yeah.
Because all your kids are different.
Yeah.
So there's something in this kid that is too much like me.
Yeah.
Because they talk about them when it was like, it's too much. So it's too much. So it's like some people, it's this person reminds me of me. I love that. Or this person reminds me of me. I hate that.
Yeah.
So it's especially the oldest son died. And it's like, but to blame it on her, the boat capsized. So we're not trying to figure out what happened with the boat. The boat is we'll find out later. But the boat capsized, and it's like, where's my brother? My brother saved me. When I saw her see her brother, I was like, well, how is this? This is episode 6.
Yeah.
She can't die now.
Yeah, it made me...
It made me go, oh, she might not make it.
She might not make it. And you know what, though? I don't mind when dramas take that route. Sometimes, K-dramas go...
In a Game of Thrones situation?
Yeah, because it's a little bit more...
Well, I remember
dramatic. It locks you in.
You know what made me watch Game of Thrones? Not the 4th season, because everybody's getting raped and murdered. One of my male friends said to me when the 4th season came out, he texted me, he said, please do not watch this season. I was like, why? He texted me back, everybody's getting raped. And I was like, and I'll see you season 5. I'm good. But the thing about Game of Thrones that made me watch the show was when they killed the dad.
Yeah.
When he got beheaded.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching it going, somebody's going to save him. Somebody's going to save him.
Nope.
Somebody's going to save him. And they cut his head off. I remember being in my house going, oh, they just going to let him die? I think that's what made everybody watch that show.
Yes.
Because we've never seen a main character who was on the poster.
Yes. Die so quickly.
So quickly.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I was like, they put this man on the poster.
I know. And they gave zero shits.
And they killed this man.
Yeah.
And then the mama started blowing up people's phone.
She is blowing her up. She actually calls her at one point and she's like, did you know that your husband put a listening device in the chairman's room? And Haein's like, do you have evidence?
Okay, remember that gold pen? Okay, just...
The pen, because the pen comes back.
The pen does come back.
Yes.
But didn't Haein, isn't there a listening device in the pen that she gives the chairman?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yes, but that's like in the future episodes. But I literally, this rewatch, I was like, that pen.
Okay,
so we gotta, yeah.
We just gotta hold that.
Couple more, hold that thought. But yes.
So when she goes, there's a listening device. She's like, it's almost like she's so used to her mother being ridiculous, because remember, her mother's going to sue her for building something on her land, even though the father's like, but it's the same family. What are you talking about? So, and then she goes, your husband has divorce papers.
She texts it to her.
Okay, she hung up on her because
she sends the a screenshot of it, right? Yeah.
Because Haein was like not paying her no mind. Because then as soon as Haein hangs up on her, and then she starts calling Hyunwoo, and Haein says, don't answer my family's phone calls. They're on some shit. And then she gets the text of the papers while she's out and about in the world, and he's running to her with the 4-leaf clovers and the picture, and he's got a bouquet, and everything's fine. And then she gets the picture of the divorce papers.
Heartbreaking. And she's so hurt.
She's so hurt because we find out that Hyunwoo was Haein's first love.
Yeah.
Because she talks about all the things you do with your first love. And he was like, well, who were you?
Who were you chasing on a bus?
Who were you chasing on a bus? Bitch, you on a bus? It wasn't her chasing somebody on a bus. She was driving next to a bus.
Yeah. Right after he gives the umbrella, she sees him and she's like, oh, driver. Follow that man.
He's like, but we're not going that way. She said, ain't nobody asked you all that.
And she followed him every day.
Every day.
In the rain, snow, whatever.
But it's funny, if it was a man doing the same thing, it'd be like creepy.
Really creepy. I mean, low-key kind of creepy.
Low-key
she would be like,
creepy.
she's like watching.
But I used to say on stage, I'm like, there are women creeps.
There are women creeps.
I've been a creep. We've all been creeps.
A drive-by? Everyone's done a drive-by.
Everyone's like, where does he live? All right.
I can guarantee you, and I'm sure you have this power too. You give me a name, I will find the information. You give me a day. I will go. I will scour. I have seen everything.
I am friends with
a private investigator. I'm kidding.
I'm friends with those people. Because, like, there was this guy that my mom liked. And I was like, it was a guy from church. And I was like, here's a video of him. He's here. And I set my friends on the case. And then my mama went to meet him again. And she was just like, and she met him again at another church thing. And she was like, no. But the problem is it's harder to find older people.
Yes, you can find younger people. But yes, older people, a little bit harder.
Like a black man who's 65. All we had was church footage. All we had was church footage. And I felt so bad. She liked him. But she was like, And I was like, all right. And then my goons were like, what's up? And I was like, stand down. But honestly, when it comes to their relationship, it was the worst way and the worst time for him to find out. As a viewer, it was the best way.
Because, it's halfway point almost in the drama. So, you gotta, K-dramas do this.
You gotta do this.
You can't be happy all the time. You gotta get some obstacles. This is another obstacle. You gotta throw something, a big old wrench at them,
Because we finally are back together. Something has to tear us apart. Something. Because the director, Joe, he gets kicked. He gets sent out. That's why Grace reacted to that man like that. So now all of the plan is coming together, right? So now we're actually spying on the chairman with this stupid ass Napoleon. And the fact that Eunsung will sit down at his laptop
and just watch
the chairman like it's fucking must-see TV is insane. I think he sat down at one point and was eating. And I was like, this isn't television. You creepy weird. This is creepy. The end of the episode is he brings this bouquet. Hyunwoo brings this bouquet with he's like, I found our lock. I have all these. I bought every clover they have. Put them in this bouquet of flowers. And she says nothing. She tosses it on the ground. These clovers. Your lock. You were going to divorce me? And he's like, yes. And I was like, say something else. Say anything else. Well, he didn't even go, let me explain. It was like, yeah.
And I think, though, in a weird way, this kind of bleeds into the next episode, but in a weird way, if he did defend himself, I think he would have even been a little bit more of like a dick in a way. You know what I mean? Because he's accepting. He's like, I was wrong. I fully am responsible for doing this to you. What I did was 100% wrong, and I'm really sorry. And I think that was his way of kind of like addressing that to her.
Well, he has to acknowledge it.
He has to acknowledge it.
He can't go, but wait, I was miserable.
No, because then I don't think we would like him as a character if he did that.
Because then we get in the weeds. Because it was just like, he did this out of hurt. Because he was hurt.
He was hurt. He was very hurt.
In the words of a man who hurt me repeatedly, hurt people hurt people.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So listen, we're back next week.
Yes.
Okay. To chase the 7th episode.
Yes. And the 7th episode is a lot of fun.
The 7th episode is a lot of fun. So listen, what did you think? First of all, what do you think of the pod? Okay. We have so much fun doing this. We have not figured out how to not record that. There's a little bit of tangification. Okay. We up, down, left, right. Okay. X, X, Y, Y, X, 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 triangle. Listen, we are an Xbox, right? This is a PlayStation controller. Sometimes you got to get the combos on Mortal Kombat. You got to Hadouken every once in a while. So, right. So listen, we want to know what you think. We want to know what your thoughts are, because we know you're watching Queen of Tears. You know you love this show. And if you didn't watch the show, then you watching it now, because me and Chrissy are out here telling you the real, talking about it episode by episode. We're talking about themes. We're talking about a truly crazy psycho ajushi, right?
And a psycho ajuma, too.
Psycho ajuma, all right? And we want to know what y'all think, okay? You want to subscribe.
Subscribe.
I know y'all like watching the little things, right? Little clips. Go on YouTube. This is a podcast.
Yes, we love the support on TikTok, please. Instagram, but we need you to follow on YouTube. Follow the podcast on Spotify. Follow it on Apple, because it is indeed a podcast.
Right.
Because this is long form content, y'all. Right. Long form.
So imagine if we hilarious in a minute. Imagine how funny we can be in an hour and a half. So on your drive to work, you sitting there in your coloring book. Let us talk to you, but also
I hope people are coloring if they're driving to work.
No, they're listening to the podcast while they're coloring.
Okay.
Honey, okay. That's crazy.
Okay.
You sound nuts. So listen, you can follow us at Chasing K-Dramas on the TikTok and the Instagrams. Come be a K-Drama addict with us. Tell us about your favorite K-Dramas. Tell us which ones you want us to do next, because right now we're at episode 7, and if K-Dramas keep doing what K-Dramas be doing, we almost done. So which one do you want us to watch? You know, I've never seen Crash Landing on You.
Crash Landing on You would be a really fun one. And it's another Park Ji-yoon drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, I got so many, because like Where the Camellia Blooms. Oh, that was good.
Or we can go Saguk route. People want Saguk.
Let me tell you something.
I was thinking about Queen's Hunduk, but Queen's Hunduk is 51 episodes. It's a little too much.
We can't do Queen's Hunduk. You know what Saguk we could do that's actually on Netflix?
Queen?
We could do Mr. Queen, or we could do Under the Queen's Umbrella.
How many episodes under the... Anyways, okay. We'll figure it out, guys. Okay, signing off.
Sarang!
Chasing K-Dramas is hosted and executive produced by Dulcé, Sloan, and me, Chrissy Choi. I edit the audio and video, and our production is led by Thomas Yuen from TY Media and Go Get 'Em Productions. Our artwork is designed by Yice Cream. We're an indie podcast, and we're always looking for fun partnerships. If you're a brand that's interested in sponsoring your chases, or for your fan who just wants to stay in touch, please check out our website at chasingkdramas.com.